especially as applied to the first decanate of Taurus, you've got really strong dislikes. Now this will apply throughout the whole sign of Taurus, but it's going to be modified by the co-ruler of the next degree. It has to come from within.
For the stars, 'cause we're aiming high.
It has to come from within.
Hello, welcome back. It's Jay Cook here, not an astrologer, the astrologer. Today we are talking again about the rising signs, and today we are talking about the decanates, which means we're breaking up the rising sign into 10-degree increments. Today's part 2, we're discussing Taurus. So either you are a Taurus, which is great because we're discussing you, or you know somebody who's a Taurus rising and we're discussing them. So you're a Taurus rising, somebody else is Taurus rising, it's always good to know. We're discussing this part right here. We're taking these decanates, these little 10-degree divisions of the Zodiac, and we're breaking these 10-degree divisions up, and that's what we're focused on today. So there's many ways. I explained it in the last video. Part 1, if you want, go check that out. I did a brief explanation about how to break up the chart into different ways. Maybe we'll get into some of those later on, but right now, your rising sign in the 10-degree increments, which increment from your rising sign happens to be on the first house cusp, that's what we're focused on. So the first 10 degrees, that's the first decan. The second 10 degrees, that's the second decan. So the third 10 degrees, that's the third decan. Every sign has 30 degrees. Not every house has 30 degrees. So remember that. When you're dealing with signs, 30 degrees always. Houses can be bigger or smaller, depending. Here are the decanates rising for Taurus. And it's okay if you can't really see it. It's kind of dark. It's really just there so I can show you. This is the first decanate. This is the first decanate, Taurus, Taurus. The second decanate, Taurus co-ruled by Virgo, or Venus and Mercury. And the third decanate, which is Taurus and Capricorn, Taurus co-ruled by Capricorn. Now we break this up into the 3 different parts here. So what is going on here? Taurus rising in general, and mostly applied to the first decanate, double Taurus, doubly ruled by Venus, would denote somebody who's inclined to diplomacy, who is obstinate and self-willed. For Taurus rising, the fate is slow to develop. Because Taurus rising does not move too hurriedly, okay, they're not in a rush, they're usually tending to be fixed in bias. Hence why the fate is slow to develop. Especially as applied to the first decanate of Taurus, you've got really strong dislikes. Now this will apply throughout the whole sign of Taurus, but it's going to be modified by the co-ruler of the next degree. Taurus can tend towards prejudices. Taurus can show a lot of shyness. They can be quite shy. This often stems from a lack of self-confidence. Keep in mind Taurus rising, not Taurus sun, although there's a lot of overlap there. This decanate produces practical, dogmatic, persistent people, determined people. As you start to go over to the second decanate, keeping in mind that for the first decanate you still have to pay attention to the other signs of the earth houses, the 6th house, the 10th house, and to the ruler Venus. You should definitely note the aspects to Venus as well. But moving on to the second, Taurus, Virgo. Taurus, Virgo. That's the second decanate. Venus, Mercury, right? Add in now the great intuition and the great discriminating powers that Virgo already possesses. Because now, like I said, Taurus is being modified by Virgo. Virgo's co-ruler, Mercury's co-ruler, adding in more practical business ability. But at the same time, it's going to add in Virgo's critical nature. it's going to add in cleverness with a temptation to be a little selfish, maybe a little self-centered. The fate here is now heavily influenced by external circumstances, concrete things, but also there is a real great appreciation from music, art, as well as business. You have to, in this position, note Mercury in the 6th house. So aspects to Mercury, Mercury's position in the chart, the overall influence of the 6th house. As you move on to the 3rd decanate, Taurus and Capricorn, Venus and Saturn, co-ruling now, add in more ambition from Capricorn. Also from Capricorn, add in the tendency to be a little bit more conventional than usual. This can make this placement overly cautious. Now this position strengthens the intellect, it strengthens the reason, but it does lessen the intuition. Where with the Virgo, we had a boost in the intuition. With this position, the person must have or use the self-control that is present with this placement. And of course, when we're talking about Capricorn, you're adding in the fact that the fate is very heavily influenced by the early environment, in the early training, and it's even harder for this person, to break away from the parental environment or the parental influence. So if they don't break away from that parental influence somewhat early or something, it's not always good. So just a quick review here. We've got Taurus, overall rising. It's broken into 3 segments that we call decanates. The second 2 decanates have co-rulers, co-ruling planets, co-ruling signs. Those co-rulers and those signs are signs in the same element, Earth, and so the second decanate, Taurus, Virgo. Virgo is the next Earth sign in the rotation of the Zodiac. So then you have Taurus, Capricorn. Capricorn is the 3rd, and technically if we're doing cardinal, fixed, mutable, Capricorn is the beginning, Taurus is the middle, Virgo is the end. But when you're dealing with the decanates, each sign, obviously Taurus, the sign, is going to be ruled double Taurus at the beginning. And then you move on to the next Earth element signs in succession. So always keep in mind the other houses that correspond with those Earth signs. So the 6th house in this case and the 10th house. As you noticed with Aries, it was the 1st, the 5th, and the 9th house. The 1st house of Aries, then the 5th house of Leo, and the 9th house of Sag. So you got to keep all of this in mind, and I hope that helps you out, gives you some good food for thought. Overall, Taurus is physically magnetic, fond of ease, a bit stubborn, and sometimes too self-centered. But overall, this has the ability to get a lot of financial success, to take financial responsibility for oneself. One should ultimately stick to their own values when they're walking this path, and discover their own beliefs before getting too involved with the beliefs of others, as that tends to create problems. So if you like this video, please hit the like button, subscribe, please share with your friends or other people who have Taurus, or people that you want to show why you're the way you are. Send this video on over. You're learning astrology, but ultimately I'm teaching you about yourself. This is teaching you about you. So thanks for watching. Please subscribe for more videos. If you have any requests, if you have any comments, leave them in the comment section below. Let me know if you experienced Taurus the way that I described it here, or maybe you've attributed some things from other areas to your Taurus rising that didn't appear in this video, and maybe it's good to start differentiating between your sun, let's say, in Capricorn and your Taurus rising, and now maybe you've got an idea of how those things modify each other. So thanks for tuning in. I'll see you next time.